Okay, I'm doing something a little different. I've been working on a DRZ400S here, one of my farmer friends in the area. This is one that I'm actually revisiting. I checked the valves on this engine a couple thousand miles ago, and I don't remember if we adjusted them or if they were in spec. But we looked at a couple different things on it and made a couple tweaks to it. But it could have been better. So one of the things I did was, I've been staying in contact with him, and he ended up having kind of a fuel line or a carburetor. He thought it might be overflowing or having some sort of issue, but it was definitely leaking fuel. So I got a cheap jet kit, we'll just say a cheap jet kit, and a rebuild because I wanted to replace the float needle on it and the needle seat. So I did. Hello. And also discovered that the fuel line was cracked. That being said, that was one of the main reasons. But when we were in there before, we didn't do the JD kit or anything, or we didn't do any of the normal upgrades. Gosh, this thing's got a wobble to it. Maybe that's some of the clumsy feel, but it's like the rebound is fighting me, or possibly the wheel is out of balance. This is one of those 21-inch wheels, so it's kind of hard. But anyway, I got all the materials to do that. So I did a blue needle on clip position number 4. I cut the 3x3 hole in it. Cut the 3x3 in the airbox, and if you don't know anything about that, I suggest you look it up. And I also did the free power mod on this, which decreases the resistance past the rectifier into the harness of the bike, and it goes straight to the battery to charge it at full voltage. And at idle, it was charging it at 14.3 volts, which I was pretty happy with. If I would have revved it, it would have took it up to 14 and a half, and that'd have been great. Yeah, this has got a little wobble, and I don't like it. Maybe I'll address that. I don't know what all I can do to that other than pull the wheel and balance it first before I go messing with the suspension settings. But I'm not a fan of that. But I got those things done on this bike, and I'm pretty happy. It's definitely, I remember from riding it before, it just had no out of the hole, and it just felt like crap. And I did that on my DRZ400SM with a stock carburetor. This one has a stock carburetor on it. And it feels like a dog, like what mine did before the 470 build and the FCR. Additionally, I'll have to say this has the stock header on it. It's got a power core muffler on it. We went with the 25 main jet and the clip position number 4 on the blue needle, and the 160 main, which That makes sense on a with a slip-on. Got to be careful around some of these dirt roads. So that's third gear, fourth. It was breaking out loose a little bit. Man, that wobble sucks. We're going against the wind with the windshield and we're going 80. That ain't terrible, but that wobble sucks. I think this tire is just out of balance. And I hate it. I'm used to on-road stuff. Maybe that's not a big deal for some people, but it's kind of a big deal for me. Oh, additionally on this carburetor, what we did when we were upgrading things is you expose the needle screw or the mixture screw. The mixture screw is exposed, and you do that just by drilling out this little brass piece, and you know, all that's done is to keep the bike happy with the EPA and be able to pass their emissions, which, you know, I just don't really totally agree with that, because when you're running lean, yes, you're burning most of the fuel, but you're wreaking havoc to some extent on your engine, and you're producing other gases. You're producing NOx, you're producing more nitrogen gases, NOx gases, we'll just say. And it's just dumb. That's what I have to say. It's just dumb. So the good thing is you don't need to have a programmer or any of that crap with these fuel injected bikes. You don't have to have any of that crap. Let's see if I can get a little wheelie on this. Now it broke loose. See if we can in a second. Now I'm not clutching this. Oh, we hopped it off the ground. It broke it loose. Oh, somebody's pop can. We'll call it a pop can. It's probably a beer can. Yeah, we don't have any wobble at this at 55. But maybe that was because I was going into the wind with this windscreen. Maybe that was loading the front suspension in a funky way. Now there's a little bit of the wobble right there here at just about 60. I bet it's this tire out of balance. I don't know if I saw any weights on it or not. That definitely annoys me. Okay, looks like we're going to get some highway riding in here. Oh wow, we just rolled this bike over to 15,000 miles. That's pretty cool. Alright, so this has got some pretty aggressive tires on it. And I can hear them whining. But you know what? Going with the wind, I'm going 70. And it doesn't feel too bad. I think that's what it was, is just this windscreen is this thing's been bent over. It's kind of off to the side a little bit, so we'll put it over there a little bit more where it should be. Here we are, about 74. Yeah, and I got a little bit of that wobble. I'm going to stop talking about the wobble. This definitely feels clumsy compared to what I'm used to riding with 17-inch wheels. I'm pretty sure that it would be a lot happier off the road altogether. Additionally, yeah, I'm kind of being a dummy. I'm not wearing boots, and I can feel some heat from that header. They don't have the pipe guard on this, so I'm feeling that. But if you're wearing pants or boots, you probably you wouldn't have to worry about it. See, there's that's stuff that I don't speak of. So as soon as I reload that suspension on the front, it seems to help a little. We hopped it a little bit. This isn't my bike, so I'm not going to slip the clutch and be a jerk. Okay, so now we got some loose sand on the road. Good old Belle Plaine Township. And it just feels like this suspension in the front here, it's like the dampening could go down so it could go ahead and load, because I don't know if it's really loading right. On my YZ250 two-stroke, I feel a little bit more comfortable going down the road. Although it does wobble. But I also have hand guards on it, which, you know, it doesn't weigh much, but everything adds up. This loose sand is thoroughly annoying me. And then, yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. But once we got stuff that doesn't upset the suspension, she tracks pretty straight. But I will say this, for this BSR carb, which sucks, it's better than it was, because there was, with the undersized pilot jet and the non-adjustable needle, it just wouldn't have any response, and it has some response. So I feel a lot better about it being closer to properly jetted. Okay, so we're gonna go down. I think this is this considered, this isn't Meridian. Oh, it's West Street. Okay. Thing about a DRZ is that you can do those sort of speeds and feel like you're not really roasting the engine real bad, especially when you got it jetted right. I'm definitely going to attempt to balance this wheel, or this tire wheel combination. This is blowing my mind. I'll tell you one thing: you wanna make riding a motorcycle on the street or on the track unenjoyable. Have an unbalanced or not a balanced tire wheel combination. But also, to be fair here, we have this is kind of cool with this windscreen, but it also kind of sucks because I like that air hitting me, especially when it's 95, 100 degrees outside. I know this area, so I know I need to slow down. The river's just right over here, the river that I crossed over earlier. Notice how it's not popping on deceleration now? You might be able to hear that and you might not. There's the river. So just a little rumble off of just a little rumble. And this has got the full spark arrestor in it too. Removing that and cleaning it out might be a thing to do, and put it back in there, because he does take this on the trails, and I think it's on some trails in Colorado. Thankfully though, I think most of the jetting charts call for the same pilot jet in all the situations. And if you're in the trails in Colorado, you might be getting some of those areas. If you get up above 3,000 or 4,000 feet, which is fairly easy to do, in those areas, it might need a main jet adjustment. On these carburetors, they don't make it really easy for you to get to them. But to rip around on the dirt roads, heck yeah, DRZ. It's going to be a lot better when I balance this front wheel, because this sucks. It absolutely sucks. I'm gonna rant for a second. Like that? That's awful. If I weren't commanding this bike, it'd absolutely get out from underneath me. But that's a death wobble. That just sucks. I hate that. Wonder if I can keep it from breaking loose here. Hey, there was a little wheelie. Oh, I was too high in the RPMs. Oh, and I put some grips on this. The grips that were on this bike were absolutely ate up, and I hated it. So I had some in stock, so I threw these on there. Anyway, this isn't really a review. This is just me riding around on a different bike for a change. That's all that really is. I know this property, so I'm going to go out here and go around this field and see how that feels. Now that feels a little bit more natural for this machine. And no, I'm not hurting this crop any. I'm gonna go ahead and stand up. All right, maybe I hurt the crop a little bit. I'm pretty confident in what the work I've done, and I know what I'm going to do on this. And this feels a lot better than when I take this route on my YZ250. All right, first gear. Second. See how that feels. Oh yeah, that was great. Woo. Except for that, that's just where they'd worked the ground though. Okay. Fun fact, these are Liberty beans, which means they use they can use glufosinate ammonium to control weeds, which is kind of a contact herbicide, but it doesn't hurt the beans. Not trying to beat up my nice showy helmet. This is the showy Hornet X2. I think that's what that is. Okay, so we got a dip. So there we go. Feels pretty good. Third. It's got enough power to break them loose. Broke it loose. This is pretty compacted area too. I'd say we made some good improvements on this bike. Well, I think that's enough for now. Thanks for riding along with me. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments section. I always answer my comments. All right, we'll see you next time.